if you just want to become rich, keep your fiat job until the fiat world collapses and just take sets.
Let's start from Lugano, and then we are going to move all over the globe.
We have to be able to compromise on some degree in order to bring more people in, because not everyone's going to care about the technical stuff. It used to just be like having a conversation, and then it kind of fades in while the conversation's happening, and then we just kind of jump in. That's like one way of doing it.
Oh, yes, yes.
Sometimes it's just in my mood. Sometimes I introduce people. It's like full-on, like formal introduction.
If you did the former, now it would be very meta because you could enter while you're explaining what.
It's like we're having a conversation about the thing and about the discussion. That's almost certainly what we're going to do now. That's exactly what's going to happen. So you are both from Italy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Milan, both from Milan.
Yeah. So I'm here with Giacomo Zucco. Is that the correct pronunciation, Giacomo?
Giacomo is perfect.
Ja.
Zucco is a little bit more, the C is double. Zucco.
Like Zucco.
Yeah.
Zucco. You have to say both of them.
Yeah, both
Like
C. Like
Zucco.
Zucco.
Yeah,
Yes,
charge
Ale.
it like, co.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And Mir
the Z
Liponi.
is like,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, Liponi. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I've read your name so many times now. Been waiting to ask that question in this exact moment. It's finally happening. So I'm glad to have that. That's my first question of the podcast. Is how
We're
you
good to go?
Yeah. You guys can get out of here. That's fine. But yeah, is there anything different about the Bitcoin discussion in Italy versus other parts of the world? We obviously have like the Czech narrative here. There's a lot of self-custody and like using Bitcoin as a form of independence. I always wonder when I asked, we had a guy named Roman from Germany, he's an influencer out of Germany, asked him like, hey, what's Germany like over there? What about Italy for you guys?
I think this is a question for Giacomo because today he gave a talk on this specific topic of different culture and Bitcoin acceptation around the world. So I think, Giacomo, you should start, but please don't go too long.
No, I will try to keep it short. Different phases in Italy. Italian community was never as hardcore as the Prague one with all the crypto anarchy institute, something like that. Never that level. We started around 2012, 2013. Actually, the first example of Italian community is the first translation of the Bitcoin core client to another language. That was done by an Italian guy emailing Satoshi, can you translate it in Italian? So the first translation was done in Italian. And then we had the first exchange ever, recently bankrupted. It's the Rock Trading. They started as a Second Life activity on the game Second Life. You remember
I
that?
know
It
about
was
that
like
game.
like a mass multiplayer kind of simulation, like The Sims to some degree, like now in a way a little bit like current games that the kids do. And on this game there were virtual businesses, including an exchange of currency, selling Bitcoin already in 2010. And then there was the first multi-sig and hierarchical deterministic wallet. Was green address. Now it's the Blockstream app. The first cash to Bitcoin service before local Bitcoins. So the community was a bunch of champions doing the first thing in isolation. No strong community, no big meetups. Individuals doing very, very innovative things, and then shutting them down, emigrating from Italy and bringing it elsewhere because in Italy it was impossible to go. So after a while, the community became very, very sparse. Very recently, in the last couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, we have a new community coming on. New wave of Bitcoiners, but it's very recent. It happened after we left Italy. Maybe we were the problem.
I see a connection here, maybe a pattern.
But it was these new guys coming in, instead of reinventing the wheel, they started to connect with us and bringing back all the OGs of the first wave, telling the history. So it's a very particular community, never as hardcore as Prague. I think that one characteristic of Italian culture is we tend to fight a lot. I mean, that's everywhere. But Italians in particular, they always have this kind of factions, this kind of teams, us versus them. So in any single context in the Italian Bitcoin scene, you can find the cross incompatibilities. So you cannot do a conference inviting this guy with this guy. They cannot be together.
Oh, all the way to like in-person situations.
Yes, absolutely. You have you cannot invite a person on the stage if somebody else is in the audience, and you have to check on that before you even organize anything.
That sounds like, setting the stage for some drama, literally,
Oh,
in this
yes. Yeah,
case.
yeah,
We
absolutely.
love
We love
dramas.
drama. Yeah.
Also, to some degree, easily solved, right? They can lash it out and maybe in a few
Yeah,
years
yeah, yeah.
become best friends.
I was thinking the same, that we love drama, we love to fight with each other, but in the end, it's a very like surface drama.
Uh-huh.
So we end up together after some time, and it's just like a play. I don't know how to say.
There's like a whole story arc
Yeah.
happening with these situations.
There was some shitcoinings. Shitcoining in Italy is more crypto bro kind of gambling style, NFTs, Ethereum. Less so about actual technological divergence like Litecoin, Monero. Here in Prague, there was a lot of drama about people pushing Litecoin and Monero and stuff. In Italy, it's more the crypto bros will just be crypto bros. So no fake technological.
Just straight up, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I asked on X question, what is the capital of Bitcoin in Europe? And of course, Prague was the most voted one and the most hardcore. But it's surprising also Italy and France and some part of Germany is on spot. And for some time, Milan, the city we are from, it was the capital of Bitcoin.
Was the center of the Bitcoin world for a while. We
World,
created
not even Europe. During 2016-17, we organized Scaling Bitcoin in Milan. Scaling Bitcoin was the biggest event, and we were the one organizing that. And that's the reason why I still don't organize a conference anymore. I'm still tired. I'm still recovering. It has been like 9 years. I'm still recovering from that.
Post-traumatic stress disorder from 2016.
That was crazy. And we had, all the people working on the protocol level and also Lightning. It was the beginning of Lightning. It was still also an idea working from our office. So Milan was really important. We are very proud of our past.
When you pay with Lightning, use the Bolt protocol, sell the protocol stack. That was finalized in Milan in our office. And
really?
In 2016.
It was called Milan Protocol.
Milano Protocol by Rusty
Bolt.
Russell. Then they changed it to Basic of Lightning Technology Bolt.
Yeah.
And when the government of Guatemala uses Bitcoin to timestamp the elections, Open Timestamps was created in Milan by Riccardo Casate and Peter Todd. And when now we discuss RGB, it's still not happening on chain after many years, but I and a few other people invented that in Milan. So in 2016...
I invented the name. I'm good at naming.
True. But I think a very strong difference, I will reiterate, a strong difference that people will not... So in Prague, there was the first mining pool, slash pool, and now we have brains working on that. There was the first hardware wallet, Trezor was the first, and now we have Trezor around here. That's not the case in Italy. You have the first... But then it will collapse and go away, and we recreated as well. So our business started in Milan, where all these cool things happened, and now we closed it down in 2018, and now we're doing that in Lugano. So the problem is sustaining things in Italy because of the bureaucratic and cultural environment.
Is it still moving things forward each time there's like a revival or like a new movement? Are you feeling progress?
I don't know. I feel that we call it a new wave. So it's different. It has been inspired by the past, but it's also there's new enthusiasm, which I like, and new energy is coming in. The new people in Italy are incredible. We have influencers, but good influencer for Bitcoin. We have a gigantic conference. We just had it in Italy, Bitcoin Forum in Brescia. It was crazy. They sold out all the tickets, full of people. Italy was ready to have such a gigantic conference, all in Italian, all
in Italian,
all about Bitcoin only. Was incredible, really incredible experience. So the energy is very high this particular moment in Italy.
Quantity and quality. Francis Puyot came to give an entire speech in Italian, and the speech was all about Bitcoin maximalism, self-custody, no KYC, and 2,000, I don't know how many thousand people, but
I will guess.
Lots of people cheering explicitly on Bitcoin only, no KYC. So
1,000, I guess.
Yeah, more than 1,000 in front of Francis. And they were actually hardcore. They were not just cheering for to the moon or whatever.
No.
They were going hardcore. Mostly entrepreneurs, people with some capital. I think that there was a radicalization phenomenon in Italy, especially
Yeah.
after the lockdowns. In
Mhm.
Italy, the lockdowns, the COVID craziness hit
Mhm.
Italy in a particular way. Was the
I
first,
recall that. That was
yeah,
one of the
Yeah.
first big stories.
yeah, was the
Yeah.
first place in the
Yeah.
West where China-style policies of
Mhm.
locking people down were implemented. There
Mhm.
was a night curfew. There was a forced vaccination. There was
Yeah.
a total, absolute local paranoia
Mhm.
And
and
still going on.
still,
We
yeah.
So you feel the
experience it.
effects still
Yeah, in
today.
Milan, definitely.
Uh-huh.
In the north of Italy, you can still feel that we have a traumatic experience. For the first time, we were in every magazine, journal, TV show,
We
whatever,
were
and
when
everybody.
it exploded. We were
Yeah,
together in we were in Las Vegas for an unconfiscatable conference by Ton Weiss,
we were
Uh-huh.
and we
traveling.
were traveling. Then we went to Hawaii. First 2 days, we were introducing ourselves as Italians, and everybody was, yeah, I have an Italian uncle. I was,
Uh-huh.
and then the third day, we started to say Italian, and people were like walking back, like,
Never
so,
happen.
Suddenly
so,
quite different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people
so we
love
started to say, ah, we're
Italians.
Swiss, okay,
And the
Yeah.
reaction was like people just
yeah,
staying
Swiss, no,
still.
no opinion.
No
Yeah.
opinion, nothing to say to us. I experienced that, and then we switch back to Italians when we travel
There are
after
a
the
few people,
lockdowns.
few
But
Yeah.
Bitcoiners writing us, "Are you guys feeling good? I was, oh my God, I
oh,
was
and it
in the
was
room with you the last day,
should
but
I be tested? And we were
Yeah.
like, we were traveling since weeks.
We've been
If
in
you
Las
want to be
Vegas this
tested,
whole time.
yeah. And
also we
Yeah.
were
so
trying to do like statistic. What are the odds that the deadly pandemics is going
yeah,
from
yeah,
Wuhan
yeah.
to a small city next to Milan,
Mhm.
skipping London? That's just not statistically possible. That's not how virology works.
Yeah.
But it was really traumatic, and many people realized that friendly people they've been in contact with, they actually could turn into Nazi if the occasion
Mhm.
comes in their life.
Issues.
We experienced that, like a family fighting with each other, and
Mhm.
so that radicalized many people in
Yeah.
so many topics, right?
We have
So
few normies
yeah,
now in Italy. Either you go
yeah.
full Nazi communist,
Mhm.
full mainstream, but in a bad way,
Mhm.
or you become really based contrarian. Remaining Luke Mile in the middle, it's very
It's
hard
very
after
hard.
that
Yeah,
phenomenon.
So
So
you're
you
seeing
have
a lot of just going to these
yeah,
extremes,
yeah,
one or the
yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
including the contrarian, countercultural extreme that is very friendly to Bitcoin and cypherpunk's ideas in
In a
general.
way, yeah,
So you're seeing that play into the Bitcoin environment in Italy as
Yeah.
well?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, many of these people, Francis Puyol was also a big advocate against COVID madness.
Mhm.
So a lot of these people were coming up to him, complimenting him for being a symbol of rationality into the hysteria. So it
Mhm.
was, I think that was a big part of this new renovated movement.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I think from something else I saw with both of you, you said that some of the early, I believe it was like a Bitcoin conference you said started in Milan. Is that the one you were talking
Yeah,
about
scaling Bitcoin
that you
Milan.
haven't recovered from?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Which you also said that was the first one in the country. Is that correct?
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Scaling Bitcoin 2016 was the first proper Bitcoin conference in the
Mhm.
country.
yeah, yeah.
And what were your either then or even today? Like, what were the ambitions that you had in starting something like that? What is the driver for you guys in organizing these things and spreading the word about Bitcoin in general?
Well, I think that we just met Bitcoin, and you met Bitcoin, and you see it's beautiful tool for freedom, and you want to just share to more people than you can, and also it's just like my personal drive when I met Bitcoin. The second time, actually, because the first time Giacomo talked to me about Bitcoin, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. You should quit your job, but I'm doing my PhD, my stuff. This is not for me. So the second time I came in contact with Bitcoin, actually, I realized this is history in the making.
Mhm.
I want to be part of it, and I want to do my small part. If there is a way in which I can help, I would love to help. If this means organizing a conference, if this means bringing pizza and feed people, if this means using some of my skill, whatever, I'm going to do that. And hopefully, and we reach that point, I'm going to be obsolete. So there is going to be a giant movement all around the world, and then we are going just like traveling to conferences and staying with our family, enjoying our free time, because Bitcoin.
Doesn't need us anymore.
Definitely. But during those years, we felt like our small action could make the difference. So we did everything in our power to really change whatever we could. Yeah.
There is a bit of personality cult versus Bitcoin legends because we started studying Bitcoin and reading about Adam Beck and watching the videos on Antonopoulos. So right now we can just hang out with Adam and joke about
Yeah.
stuff. But back then was, oh, this is the Adam Beck, the guy with the T-shirt
Yeah,
with
yeah.
RSAs. It's him. He's in Milan. And then there was Rusty Russell. This guy worked on the Linux kernel. This is really him. You can touch him. It was like, and Andres Antonopoulos came to our meetup in Milan,
Yeah.
and I was basically spending 1 year watching his videos, and he was with us. So it was this kind of celebrity struck sensation that we were feeling really like this. Mir said it. This is history in the making, and if we help it, we are we are not protagonists, but we are in the front row to see the real legends developing history in the making. That was the perception back then.
And this is why we quit basically what we were doing at the time. So Giacomo was a consultant. I was doing my PhD. And at some point, we were like, come on, this is like too much in comparison. We should quit what we are doing and go full time into this Bitcoin thing. It was just like a giant bet, but in hindsight, it was the right bet.
Unique opportunity.
Yeah.
Even if Bitcoin is still very early, still at the beginning, a lot of stuff is happening, but it's that specific moment in time, right before the block size wars, something that we
was
would have
epic.
missed. And we're
You've
very
seen
happy
all
with-
the stories
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. And we came as like we entered into the space in 2014, me 15. And so there was already prehistory of Bitcoin before us, and we were already
We're the second wave already.
We are already we were already listening to this amazing story of the first years of Bitcoin, and so I think we are not that early, in my perspective.
Yeah, no, in the Italian community, we consider ourselves the second wave. First wave was us fat translating the client in Italian. Luca Venturini contributing to the code.
Yeah.
We know the first wave of Italians, and then the second wave comes us, Lawrence Naum, Riccardo Casatta, Marco Amadori, and then the third wave, which is happening now, is Federico Rivi, Ricky of the Bitcoin Italia podcast, and all these other guys, Turtle Cute, Daniela, a lot of other people.
So when you said you wanted to do your small part, that meant to you just starting an entire conference and running the whole thing?
Well, at the beginning, for me, it was just like helping with the meetup. So I organized something like 50 meetups in Milan. And you have to imagine that the first meetup, I wasn't the owner of the first meetup, but then after some time, I was the one organizing that. You have to imagine that we were like 10, 20 people. And so it really humbled me because you are putting all of your effort and nobody kind of showed up. And over time, we reached like hundreds of people. But I started with that, creating a community. To me was really important to make people connect with each other, project with each other, creating just like synergies between people. And also through, startups, also the things that we were doing also were co-working, just like inviting startup, make them work together, and like, there's this one is working on this, maybe you should be interested. And the magic happens when you are physically in the same space. And what we are trying to recreate in Lugano right now is this kind of experience, which I think is like unique, because when you work digitally, there is these strong barriers between you and other people. You don't get the same type of connection. And I'm a strongly supporter of like the best thing happens during free time, hanging around, having some good food. The best project, even business project, happen there. The best discussion and everything. So I'm a giant fan of like having free time, give them some food, and let people connect with each other.
Trust building. You can chat with somebody over a signal and you can agree, but you will not build trust. You just get out at dinner a few times, and even if we pretend not, that will make a difference. Also for the worse. because you can have echo
Yeah, yeah.
chambers based on cohabitation. You can have
Hmm.
a strong in-group versus out-group dynamics based on the
Yep.
fact that we are here and the others are not. So
Hmm.
it's tricky, can backfire, but physical sharing a physical in-person space is not something that you can replace.
Yeah.
Right. And these things just like stimulating naturally kind of growth
Yeah.
and creation of things.
Yeah, and bonds that can really survive
Uh,
adversity and beer
yeah.
Mhm.
markets
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
That can feel
Human.
really tough when you're in one. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Getting back to your question, I think we didn't know what we were doing. We were just trying to think. I never considered myself somebody who likes to organize events or create community or
mhm.
like, yeah, connected startups. But that happened, and we just follow organically what was emerging at the time.
Mhm.
And apparently, we did a good job since we've been asking to do it again in another country, and so we are very happy to do the same. And yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, interesting. And going back to what you said, Giacomo, about the first wave of people and who you were meeting, I guess in the are the early days to you like 2013 or more like 2016? In your head,
Well,
what time frame do you think?
so the real early days in Italy were actually 2009, 2010,
Yeah, yeah.
and
But
that
for
was
you,
for me.
hmm
I first read about Bitcoin December 2012. I
uh-huh.
started to seriously study it in January 2013, and Mir proposed to me to quit my job and do Bitcoin only in May 2013. So
hmm
in May 2013, I gave my resignation to Accenture and I went Bitcoin only.
hmm
And of course, no business model back then. So I created many startups. They all failed. And I did a few things that didn't fail. And then in 2015, we created our actual research and consultancy center about Bitcoin in Milan. And from that, the meetup and Mir joined, and we did the conference,
hmm
the protocols, everything. And then in 2018, we closed down everything because of personal reasons. We had our first daughter. We
hmm
wanted to get quiet a little bit. We also were a little bit tired.
yeah, we were tired.
And now, after a few years in Lugano, the idea is just let's do it again once more.
Yeah, we missed it also.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you saying it was an interview that I watched from a couple years ago, but you were saying back in those days it was like more developers, like people were
Mm,
more nerdy about it, like
yeah.
that kind of thing. If you hold up that image of those early days, where it was like more the dedicated developers, and you hold that next to today's environment, like where we just got it. One reason I think we're talking about conferences a lot is because we just came from one. For anybody who's watching this online, we just finished BTC Prague, the third day, one of the largest conferences in Europe. So that's like hot on our minds right now. But if you hold these two images up, 2016, 13, whenever versus today, what are some of the differences that are obvious to you or that you see between these two environments and these two times?
Scaling Bitcoin was a strictly technical conference. It was only
Hmm.
engineering. It was part of it was objectively boring, even for us.
Yeah.
Part of it was incredible, but part of it was boring. No booths,
It was
no
inside an university.
inside the University Polytechnic of
Yeah.
Milan.
hmm
So it was okay. Adam Beck is up, Adam Beck is down. Now Andrew Postra is up, and now it's Peter Todd, and now that was
Yeah,
it.
and the contents were like super, super not palatable. I mean, were university level papers, peer reviewed almost like so.
In the party,
Yeah.
actually try
Yeah.
to be more. We try to be more playful, so the
Yeah.
party
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
fun. Samson Mo was bringing coins, so that
It
we
was
were
the
doing.
hmm
first time Samsung actually came out with the hat, the
Yeah,
force
they had
hats.
the idea
Yeah.
of the hats. So the idea
Yeah.
to
Uh-huh.
do basically consensus building with hats was happening in Milan. So there was some jokes and some
Well,
partying.
people weren't happy about that because it was a serious
Yeah,
conference in
we got
university.
Uh-huh.
some
Oh.
we got some
So it felt
yeah,
like it was maybe
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
against like some of
yeah,
what people wanted,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
a little bit. And now it's totally different. Now a
Yeah.
technical panel would be maybe the hack day right before BTC Prague.
Yep.
Hack
Mm.
days were similar,
Yeah.
even is smaller, and the actual conference
Mm.
is all about appealing to more normal people, which is I think is a
Yep.
natural growth thing. It's more fun. We have more fun here than we did in
Yeah,
scaling
definitely.
Bitcoin, but I guess that the difference is that this conference is fun, is engaging. If it didn't exist, nothing will change for Bitcoin so much.
Mm.
While
hmm
back then, the sense was we are making the history of Bitcoin. Without this conference, people will not agree about block size and we will have problems. So it was like a sense of we need this to fix Bitcoin or to defend Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Well, now it's more like Bitcoin exists and we are more like spectators and we try to have fun or build a business on top of it or meet friends. For
Yeah.
many of us, Bitcoin conferences are just the occasion we will meet our friends.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the direction I was thinking as well. I wanted to hear your opinion too, because I got into it maybe around 2017, but I didn't work in the industry until like here at Trezor. So I'd already been like a fan for a long time. I knew Trezor everything, but I've noticed this slow shift over time. Or if you look at Bitcoin Prague where we just came from, it's like it feels much more mainstream than I kind of remember things being, and it creates this question of like what do we want as a community? Because if you go too strict on the technical, you're going to block out more societal growth. That's the thing. If you look at like for example, Michael Saylor just did his speech today. A lot of his speeches are not he talks about technicals every now and then, but a lot of it is more like philosophical. It's more like the numbers. Sometimes it can be a little controversial for people because he's talking about like how much money you can have, which might not be like a priority for a lot of people in the Bitcoin space. And so it feels like this tone has shifted to some degree. And there's this overall question, which I've been having this discussion with people lately, of like, I feel like we have to be able to compromise on some degree in order to bring more people in, because not everyone's going to care about the technical stuff. It might be something you like, and it might be important to the actual development of Bitcoin. And so there's this question I've been asking people of like, how much should we kind of bend on the principles of Bitcoin, these technological focuses and how it works on a fundamental basis versus like, hey, just get set up with an exchange, like learn how to use it. Maybe you don't understand what's going on underneath the hood, but we want people to use Bitcoin in the real world. Not everybody has to know it on the deepest technological level. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
No, well, I'm thinking about that a lot, and I think we are still in a phase of target discovery. I mean, like, I think that right now conferences are created by Bitcoiners to Bitcoiners,
Mhm.
but Bitcoiners right now have a sub target inside, and so there are newbies and there are more technical people, there are OGs, and so what I imagine for the future is that the conference will find their own specific target. And for example, one target I feel that is like kind of represented but not much is like the medium level user is somebody that is into Bitcoin, is not a newbie but is not highly technical. So it's very important for this target of people doing things practically, just like workshop, masterclass. So I think the added value right now the conference is not only hanging around with friends but also learn how to use technical stuff, but without getting into too much technical details. And this is what I'm seeing as could be something that when we organize events or things are the most crowded at the moment. So right now we are doing everything together, but probably in the future we're going to have conferences for no corners in a
Yeah.
way, for normies. We are going to have conferences for newbies, for medium, for
Institutionals.
institutional. So what I'm seeing that we are all doing this together, but over time we are going to differentiate. So this conference, this place would be more like this, and this more verticalized on this topic,
Yeah.
on this target. But we are still in this phase of target discovery.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are three considerations. One is balance. From we have this trade-off between purity and adoption. If we
Yes.
want Bitcoin to work properly to change the world, we want adoption. But if we dilute the Bitcoin values so much that so the easier way to become adopted would be just to become fiat, because fiat is a de facto standard. So if we just blend Bitcoin in to the existing fiat standard, we will have adoption but no value anymore. If we resist in a very the Bitcoin is for remnants kind of mentality, elite mentality, purity mentality. Bitcoin will keep purity, but it will serve fewer people, and will also be weaker because less capital, less hash rate, maybe less political protection. So we have to find the balance, and the conferences are in the same conundrum of finding the right balance between the two. But the two considerations are, one, it's on one way we just became more mainstream, but on the other way there was a technical side that was ignored at the beginning and now is more part of the equation, which is the economical side. Being technical in 2016 meant being computer science technical
Yes.
Yeah.
or cryptography technical. But people, we were hanging out with people, including ourselves, clueless about business models, finance, to some degree, even the elaboration on Austrian economics that came out with Saifedian and others. I knew something about Austrian economics, but the average Bitcoiner was clueless about that,
Yep.
which is also impactful because you will fall into shitcoin traps if you don't understand money. So I think that on one side we went mainstream, on the other side we just split the specialized knowledge between computer science and cryptography and business and economics, which is also important. So, for example, when we do education in Plummet Network, we try to cover both, not just technology. The other consideration is it's true that scaling Bitcoin was uber technical, but it's also true that even before 2016, we had a lot of Bitcoin conferences that were very normie oriented, like the Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam, the first I did in my life in 2014. It was very, very close to this one, actually. So, in a way, it's like there was a first wave that was very mainstream. Then it now forgetted into the blockchain hype and the shitcoin hype, the crypto hype. So consensus,
Yeah.
the blockchain
Do you know
conferences.
it's still a thing, consensus?
Incredible, right? It
Incredible.
was
I didn't
already
know.
horrible years ago. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine now. So we had Bitcoin conferences, already normie friendly. Then they degenerated into total noise, like blockchain conferences. And then Scaling Bitcoin were the first wave of Bitcoin only conference, and that was super technical. Then we had Baltic Honey Badger, that became the first normie friendly Bitcoin only conference, up to something where we are here, like BTC Prague, which is Bitcoin only, is focused, but it's also normie friendly. So it's like a cycle of expansion, degeneration into noise, and then you have to go back selective. So it's like you expand and then you filter. You expand and then you filter.
That's kind of funny because that sounds so much like the classic curve of someone who gets into crypto. They always start with Bitcoin and then they go up into the shit coins and eventually you come back to Bitcoin again.
Yeah.
That's like such a
Like a
similar echo.
midwit
Yeah.
curve.
Yes. Yeah, I was one of those. That exact thing happened to me because like you hear from different people, you're like reading things online, you get super overexcited, and then you realize the fundamentals of Bitcoin are really where it's at for
Yeah.
everything. And so, yeah, I've had so many people say that. Also, is that the origin of Honey Badger? Is that where it started?
Yeah.
Because I've always heard about that, and I just think that's a
That's
funny
it.
joke. I love the association, but that's like where it came from.
Well, you mean of the Honey Badger meme?
Yeah, it's like a huge thing now. It's always been like associated with Bitcoin.
I think that actually the origin of, I could be wrong, but I think that's Roger Ver. There was the meme, the Honey Badger doesn't care.
Yes.
So that was
It was like a YouTube video.
YouTube
like
video.
a long time ago.
The Honey Badger doesn't care, and so Roger Ver put up some messages in the US, paying for them. Bitcoin is the Honey Badger of money. The Honey Badger
like it doesn't care.
Yeah, because it
I
doesn't care.
see, I
And
see.
then Max Kedun, when he had to create the first Bitcoin only mainstream oriented conference in Riga, he called it the Baltic Honey
I also
Badger.
have a memory about honey badger being an animal special because it's super resistant, super resilient, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
So there
and
is
it
also,
doesn't care.
Yeah,
The
doesn't
video was
care.
like
Yeah.
him with snakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
attacking.
video is hilarious. If
Yeah,
you haven't
yeah.
seen it, if anyone's watching, you haven't seen it. It's like one of the classic old internet, like viral, like one of the early viral things. It is. So, I watched it recently. It's hilarious. It's so funny. So yeah, tell me about Plan B Network then. I meant to get to this sooner, but yeah, we had so much to talk about before that. Yeah, where did the idea come from? How did it start? How did you guys get it going to where it is now? Or maybe just foundational first, and then how did you get there?
So
Yeah.
we were not there. We were resting after our activity in
Oh,
Milan.
this is where we pick up from that story.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is very consequential.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are resting. I'm doing freelance consultancy for banks. I'm doing some shit posting on Twitter.
Mhm.
I'm advisor of Relay and Lighting Ventures and a few other startups.
I'm a
So
mom.
she's a
Uh-huh.
mom. She's
That's definitely a major factor to
Yeah.
consider.
We are two kids, freelancing, doing small things into the Bitcoin space. We are just like there,
and
happy.
that's it. We organize another conference, which is very nice in Malta with Ton Weiss and
Oh,
Adam
yeah,
Beck,
right.
Understanding Bitcoin, which is also connected with the other discussion because we bring
2019.
2019
Yeah.
technical developers on one side and high net worth individuals and investors, and we put them together. And the idea is that the developers must teach these guys to use proper tools like coin joining, self custody
Uh-huh.
in an understandable way, and these guys must give back a feedback like your stuff is unusable. Please fix
Yeah.
it. So it was very nice. And during that conference, Paolo Arduino, back then he was the CTO of Tether and Bitfinex, and Oleg Mikhailsky, partner at Fulgur Ventures, and actually John Carvalho from Bitrefill came to me to resuscitate my RGB idea because I had invented RGB a few years ago before, but then I had abandoned it. So they approached me to start it again, and we had some discussion. Then we went back to retirement, and
Yeah, because being a mom is retirement.
okay,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I did
I
now.
have no comment on this one. I'm staying out.
As I was teaching, I was doing some Bitcoin classes and stuff like that, and Bitcoin consultancy. And then there is the city of Lugano. The city of Lugano is experimenting with weird monetary stuff since the 80s. So they had the Lugano points that were like a point on a credit card like stuff, convertible in a cashback program based
Uh-huh.
on Swiss francs. So it was already doing
So there is a
experimentation.
history of this.
There is an history.
Yeah.
So they had this Luga that was like a point for cashback redeemable in Swiss francs, but only in local shops. That's Lugano. Lugano, the mayor of Lugano is doing one of these this stuff, and the local universities convince him to do that, but on the blockchain. Of course, it's nonsense. They create a private blockchain, which is a fork of Ethereum, run by
Ah.
3 nodes, and they basically start a program on the blockchain. Now, the mayor meets Paolo Arduino in a conference, and Paolo Arduino is introduced to him like he's also a blockchain guy. So the mayor of Lugano speaks with Paolo, which is actually trying to orange pill the city. He wants to turn Lugano into the center of Bitcoin innovation. He lives there back then. So they create the name Plan B, Lugano Plan B. So that's a Plan B for the city. The idea is
Uh-huh.
that there is a cooperation with the institution. We're not adversarial. You guys do the plan A, the mainstream, based on centralized architecture like Google, based on zero privacy, based on financial hype waves. And we create also plan B, which is based on privacy, decentralization, resilience, and like stability over time against the hype, the signal across the bullshit noise. So was the general idea. Paolo starts it without me. They involve Fulgur Venture, and then they remember that we work together in RGB. So they call me and they say, Giacomo, would you want to take over the Bitcoin, the Plan B summer school in Lugano? So the second year I do, and then they start to ask me to cooperate more on the Plan B forum, which was the conference, and we start cooperating. Then they asked us to recreate what we did in Milan in the Plan B hub of Lugano, which is called the Proof of Work Space. So we do. And then we basically understand that now I'm working a little bit to help the Plan B funds, which is a venture initiative. So the idea is that we gradually started to help this initiative more. Then we met with Roxy, which was a leader of the French Bitcoin education community, and he was doing an amazing job orange pilling French people and French speaking people in Africa about Bitcoin. And we just decided to acquire them inside Plan B, and we created this company, Plan B Network. The company is 1 year old at this point,
Only. It's
only 1 year
crazy.
old.
It
Plan
seems
B
like
Network?
yeah, it
was
seems
created
like 10
was created in
years.
June of last year.
I thought I read it was like 2022 or something.
Yeah, well, the Lugano Plan B started. So that's why I told you the full story.
Okay.
The initiative in Lugano started before us.
Yeah.
We just started a company to try the Plan B network 1 year ago to try to make sense of all these initiatives and try to put them together in a consistent kind of view. So right now, the company Plan B network is very recent,
Yeah.
but the idea of a Plan B, basically going from Lugano to the world, then we organized. With Plan B Network, we organized the Non-Nation Initiative in El Salvador, the Asia program for the government in El Salvador. We did the Cubo Plus program in El Salvador. We did a lot of stuff in Africa. We organized the university course in Turin. We organized the university course in NTUT in Taipei. We opened up a second hub in Tokyo, the Plan B hub, the Bitcoin Tokyo space, which is also a Plan B hub. Then we did the same, some stuff in El Salvador again. So it exploded in the last year, and I was supposed to be only part-time on Plan B Network, but that didn't work
There's
out.
a lot of it was supposed to be stories.
Yes.
I'm noticing here.
And Mir was supposed to just be a low-key advisor,
Yeah.
and now she's more full-time than me, basically.
I'm back. I'm back in the game, but I'm really happy. So my main job is right now being more focused on the physical hub. I was telling you before that I really believe in the physical space and everything that can happen when we meet in places that really enrich our life and our business. So at the moment, I'm focused on Lugano because the hub there, the co-working is growing very fast. And for us, is a sort of a prototype for other places in the world. Bitcoin base in Tokyo has been inaugurated in April. Still early phases. We have a Turin in Italy that is
Coming soon.
We have other places I cannot tell right now. There's Salvador, things going on there. And so, yes, the idea is to create a sort of a network of places when you travel. So that's the goal. When you travel, you know there are these hubs where you can find other Bitcoiners and you can eventually have a global subscription you can share in these places. So it's very ambitious, but let's start from Lugano and consolidate Lugano, and then we are going to move all over the globe.
So these were the locations I saw on the flyer at your booth, actually, at the conference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I noticed
only
it had those
real
icons.
hub right now where you enter and you have a co-working are basically Lugano and Tokyo.
Yeah.
But these are all the communities where we eventually plan to either build or incorporate a
Or
physical location.
federate, because there are other places where you can find Bitcoiners. There are in a way sponsored or in the network of Plan B network. So yeah, every single point, maybe there is a space, or maybe there is a community, and maybe there is some project or something going on there that we follow, that we help, that is put on the platform or in our content and related to Plan B network. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've wanted to actually looking at it before we got together today. I was looking at it a few weeks ago. It looked like there's a lot of really good information on the website because I saw that you have like courses that you can take, like some are free, some are paid. But even looking at some of the free stuff, it looked like it was a very thorough curriculum and a lot to go through, which now I'm questioning if I'd actually heard of it before. I thought I'd heard of Plan B Network, but like the fact that you said it's a year old, I'm like, that's so recent.
We announced the intention to build it in Lugano Plan B Forum of 2024, 2023.
Okay,
Then
so 2
we
years
actually
ago.
incorporated the company in June 2024.
So that'd be
And
like
so
the official.
Probably it's 1 year and a half since the announcement and 1 year since the incorporation.
Yeah, but I have to say that we have done a great job with the branding and we notice, especially here at the conference, many people are coming to the booth and they are using the resources. They are very happy with the courses. And keep in mind, 90% of what we are doing is open source and free. So people are very happy because they are getting very high level of content altogether. They're also being guided in following the contents. The translation are in 15 languages. So it's a centralization in a way, but you can also fork the content and do whatever you want. And Of course, we also have the paid courses that are right now. We are almost at the end of the business school,
Yeah.
which is the second edition, and it has been a great success because
Hmm.
it's the only school that I'm aware where the idea is to make you Bitcoin employable. So it's focused not for
Yeah, I
technical
did. I saw
people.
that. That was
Yeah,
listed on the website. Yeah.
yeah, it's not for technical people. I just like to make like people that have already skill in business to become more proficient in Bitcoin, and also to met the companies. So many people are enrolling in the school, but only 21 students are coming to Lugano for an entire week
Hmm.
with a great teacher, and they are having the best networking.
Yeah.
Last year, out of the 21 students, 14 has been employed in this company. So we are
Hmm.
very happy with the rate of success of people really employed in this company, and the companies are happy with the students too. And that part is not filmed. You can only
Hmm.
get it if you are in Lugano. While the lessons that we have been held during this month right now are only for students, but next year will be free on the platform, open source for everybody else. So we
Uh-huh.
love this idea that we are sharing knowledge, but at the same time, there are some parts that are only for the best. We are very proud that the last students would be the best for the Bitcoin companies to hire them.
Well, that is really cool because I feel like there are many people who want to take those steps who like they would like to be able to make a living off of something related to this
Yeah,
industry, but you don't always know where to start, you don't know where to
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
when I saw it, it was like it was like months long. I was like,
Oh,
this
it
is like a
is.
serious course.
Oh,
Like
it
yes,
it's
is.
for
It is
it
real.
with
is.
the best teachers. This year we had Lynn Alden, Matt Odell, Jeff Booth, Jack Mallers, Paolo Arduino. Last year we had Saifediana Moose, Knut Swanson was also this
Efrat,
year.
we had
Efrat,
Efrat.
we had Efrat.
Yeah.
Even last year, a lot of very high profile speakers.
Yeah, and keep in mind, those are not like the typical speech. We ask them to do something related to business and jobs,
Hmm.
and especially during the weekend presence, we ask them to do something like workshop, something very practical. So it's something that you don't get usually at a conference or a meetup. It's something very targeted to this goal. Yeah.
The demand for this comes actually from Bitcoin startups, from the Fulgur and Tether families, because they are basically locked into a conundrum. Let's say that you are Breeze, because it was a real example. Breeze by Roy Shanfield, the great Bitcoin startups. He had to hire a marketing guy. Now his choice was a Bitcoiner, very aware of the Bitcoin memes and culture and things and taboos, but
Yeah.
not really skilled in marketing. So he will have to learn the job, learn on the job, because it was not his job. He was just a Bitcoiner,
Hmm.
just shit posting on Twitter, and somehow he
Yeah.
has to get serious. Or hire a marketing specialist completely unaware of Bitcoin,
Hmm.
educated in the fiat world with fiat principles and fiat memes. So at a very high risk to completely misinterpret or even trigger in a negative way
Hmm.
the Bitcoin targets. So it was like, what do I do? A real marketer with zero Bitcoin education, or a real Bitcoiner with zero market education? We are trying to fix that by with this course. Of course, we could go in two ways. For example, next fall we will do the Plan B Tech School for developers, for
Uh-huh.
engineers and developers. Now, what do you do? Do you teach coding to Bitcoiners, or you do teach Bitcoin to coders? We're going the second way right now because it's
Hmm.
easier, it's faster.
Yeah.
So we want to target coders, engineers already proficient in their job,
Yep.
and from the gaming industry, from the AI bubble, from all this kind of stuff, and we want to teach Bitcoin to them. It's easier the other way around. We also want to do it to take normal Bitcoiners and teach them how to code,
Hmm.
but that's completely that's a way more ambitious program.
It's just like a bigger bridge to gap for something
In
like
a,
that.
Yeah.
in a way, yes, because we discovered that among developers and among business people, business developers, marketers, accountants, lawyers, tax lawyers, there already are a lot of Bitcoiners that don't know they are.
Hmm.
They just need the proper orange
Yeah.
peeling, and they can really discover themselves into Bitcoin. While if you are a Bitcoiner, but you don't know how to do accounting, and I have to teach
Yeah.
you to do accounting, that's a completely different ambition.
Yeah, and also I think it's very important to understand there are also the intersection. So, for example, we have some lesson about legal. You are not going to like learn everything about legal. You are going to learn the part connected to Bitcoin. So, the regulation on Bitcoin. What are the threats? What are the how things are evolving. So it's very important to understand that it's easier when you are like accounting, but related to Bitcoin, legal related to Bitcoin, and that part only, which is a great value to add to these people because you cannot find it anywhere else except for these professionals that are working every day with this type of things. So it's very important to have great teacher that have like they are putting their effort and hands exactly on this matter every
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made me want to, spend more time with it because it looked like it's such a good collection of information that's there.
Mm-mm.
I know, like, I'm always wanting to get like more into the tech. It's the classic like rabbit hole thing. It's like you never find the
Yeah.
bottom, basically. But like, if I found that when I'm with a casual context, my friends, my family, something like that, I'm like the Bitcoin genius to them. Like I know everything,
Yeah.
or they think I'm crazy. It's like one of the two. But then here at like Trezor, for example, it's like you will find some of the most informed people you've ever met, and suddenly you're not like the big fish anymore. It's like, oh, I have a lot more like left to learn. And so, yeah, seeing your platform, I was immediately like, this looks like a place I'd like to like spend some more time with, if not just to rehash like fundamentals, but yeah, to dive deeper. That's what I liked as well, is you pretty much have the full range of
Full
everything.
range
There's the
from 101 to C Lightning plugins. So
yeah.
we want to go. That's credit mostly to Roxy,
Yeah.
the French guy I told you before,
Yeah.
because he was the one really gathering the team and the information together with a mix of open source contributions. So anybody can go on GitHub and just pull a new course or a translation of an existing course
Uh-huh.
or corrections, plus some paid employees that need to
Yeah, it's
are
a
needed.
gigantic effort. You never know how many people are working on that all the time. I mean,
And I
for
think it's the greatest
yeah,
collection of Bitcoin knowledge
yeah,
in a single place with
yeah.
with a single structure with so many language translations.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
There's a very very big into translation stuff. So it makes very useful for local communities where there are linguistic
Yeah.
barriers.
Hmm.
So very happy about that. And now, if you enter Plambidon Network now, that's what you find. If you enter Plambidon Network, probably I cannot make any promise, but probably by the next forum in October, you will find a general dashboard that will bring you to the Bitcoin Academy, which is the current content,
Hmm.
plus the Bitcoin Hubs, which is managed by Mir, with all the deals across the world for physical buildings, plus the Bitcoin funds for open source grants and VC deals. So we will try to cover the three aspects that we want to stress.
Hmm. That almost answers the next question I was going to ask, because part of like what I do obviously is like more video and media focused versus like coursework. But one thing that I've been thinking a lot about lately is like how to strike a balance between this introductory work and these 101 foundational concepts versus the more advanced things. Because what I found is when I first got in, I got super excited about the advanced stuff. I go, oh, this content doesn't exist a whole lot. Like, this is the fun thing to do because we've talked about the 101 stuff. But then after you're in the industry for a bit, you find that there's just so many people coming in all the time. There's a huge need for just those
Yeah.
foundational concepts, even if you've talked about them before, or maybe if you've done a video on it to do it in a different way. How do you find that? I mean, in your case, I guess you have everything, but like, do you find yourself needing to emphasize or not knowing which one to like sink more of your energy into? Like, how do you know what to focus on between
To
beginner and advanced?
to a degree, we have the conscious push to try not to reinvent Bitcoin 101 all the time because that's very
Hmm.
tempted for me as well.
Yeah.
Like
Especially for you.
especially for no, but to be fair for everybody,
Yeah.
when a Bitcoin educator starts, they really want to start from the foundations. That's natural. That's the way
Yeah.
they started themselves. So you want to start from the foundation.
Hmm.
But there is just so much space for reinventing the foundation again, again, and again. So even if you can give different angles, the idea is to try to keep a reasonable number of alternative one-on-one approaches, and then to branch in depth. So then we try to guide the educators to say, look, I know you want to explain from barter to money. We have read Nick Szabo to get, okay, that's cool. I also want to do that
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
but
This is
let's try
that's
to
why I was
force
laughing.
let's try to force ourselves to stop a little bit there and to move like we talk about inflation. Has anybody ever created a course about all the history of hyperinflation towards through the centuries with with the precise accounting of that? Has anybody ever really expanded on all the graphs that you can find out on what the fuck happened in 1971.com? All those graphs really studied, documented in a way that you can defend this position, all of this stuff. Or you go technical, you go on software, documentation, plugins, programming, and stuff like that. So the idea is we try to push people into the down into the rabbit hole to try to be more specialized, because otherwise people will just found they will just approach an infinite number of beginner courses,
Yeah.
which takes a lot of time to redo.
Like beginner hell, just staying there
Yeah,
forever.
in
Yeah.
a way, the architecture that me and Roxy are imagining and the rest of the team is a little bit like this, like a rabbit hole. The rabbit hole has a few exits and a few entrances. So based on your position as a developer or investor or third world country, unbanked, based on that and your language, you can have an entry point which is slightly different. Then we do the basic education that should be very harmonized, and then we branch off again into becoming a cryptographer or a front end developers, UX designer, marketer, lawyer, and different kind, or teacher yourself.
Yeah.
And this kind of branch is complicated. I don't think we are there yet, but I think we want to get there.
That's a really great strategy. I like thinking of it that way because it feels like way more flexible and approachable to these different situations. Everybody comes from a different background, and they're probably headed in different directions as well. So yeah, something that I think accounts for those different situations is really cool. Has any? I mean, one question I had as well was like, I don't know, if it's as relevant since it's been about a year since you established it formally, but has anything changed since then until now? Like, what kinds of things have you felt in development from where you started and where you are and where you're trying to go?
I think many things changed. First, well, we probably wouldn't expect such success as a brand. I remember some meetings we have internally. The brand is not strong enough, but actually, the brand is circulating a lot.
Yeah.
The access to the platform are increasing every day, and so yeah, probably this really changed a lot. We know that the product, the platform was really strong, but I think we also have done a good job with marketing, going to the conference, to the booth, explaining to people, going to podcasts or whatever we can without putting too much effort, but with a lot of passion. So the brand is circulating. And another things that I'm personally very proud of is just like right now, the physical space in Lugano is it has been open in November, and we reached during the last month, the full capacity is 100% full of the private offices are full of startups, and not only startups working from there. And the desk in the co-working are 3/4 occupied. So yeah, it has been only some month, and we reached almost the full capacity, and is becoming a real place where Bitcoiners met. The community is very strong in Lugano, and so I'm really proud. It has been only 1 year, and for the academy, for the hubs, Tokyo base has been inaugurated. Yeah, it's pretty much incredible what we have reached in only 1 year. The team is big. Everybody is putting a lot of effort and using their free time. Also, we have a lot of volunteers too. So people translating everything. People like helping us physically during the meetup in Lugano or at the booth. So we are very lucky because there are plenty of people working for us in their free time, putting strong effort in what we are doing. For this, I guess, for the same reason we just started into the space, because they are experiencing like this is something very important. I can help with education. I can help like reaching more people and getting like involved into Bitcoin with education, with the contents, and also there are plenty of people, and this is something I love. Plenty of people there are now, they quit their fiat job and they are full-time Bitcoiners and been hired in Bitcoin companies. So I guess it's a very nice, it's a very nice balance for as a first year, right? Are
Yeah.
you happy with that?
I'm happy. Still a lot of stuff to do, but I'm very happy.
I am
I
more
think
enthusiastic usually.
I'm just tired, I guess. But
Yeah, it's
I'm
very
but
tired.
also now I know that we have a lot of stuff to optimize. I think that the main changes has been one. I had to review my strategy because I was naive when we did the thing in Milan with Mir together. We were able to design it from scratch in a very central planned way. So we knew what we wanted to do, kind of. So we designed it. We built a team. It was messy, but it was kind of organized. While with Plan B universe, there are so many moving parts. There's the forum. There's so many things happening that my initial plan was, let's create a platform that will do everything. They will do federation of office space. It will do the tickets for the forum and the education program and everything together. Of course, that was a ridiculously stupid idea. And so after 1 year, I'm
Only
well,
very ambitious.
very naive. Now I accepted the fact that we have to break down the organization into branches that I have to delegate more. So Mayor's now building the hubs, and Rox is building the academy online, and many capable people are going to build the open source grants and venture, and then we will just try to give a unified kind of grid, but without trying to centrally plan everything because it's
You
impossible.
just reach the phase of acceptance that we are an organism and we're
Yeah.
It's become this.
I'm an organization nerd, so I try to be very weird about the kind of shape I want to give to the business. Now I'm accepting a more natural evolution. And second, which is the other way around, I'm accepting some level of hierarchy needed. We started as a very peer-to-peer, horizontal things. Ever like, okay, you're a plumbing network. What do you do? Well, everybody does kind of everything. So like, I do this, you do the same, or is totally horizontal. We decide together. And after 1 year, now we are structured in a way that we really need an owner of the single processes. We need some level of hierarchy, otherwise it's totally messy. So I'm just, I guess I'm growing up,
Just accepting that some of these things need to be done.
accepting reality. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for someone, let's say there's someone who's listening to this right now, and they're like, "Hey, I want to get out of my fiat job. I would love to transition over to, a life with Bitcoin or working in industry some way." What is your advice for how that person? Because that can be difficult. That can be scary for someone to make such a big change. How would you advise that they start taking those steps or get from one point to the next?
Well, we'll probably tell these people to just keep doing their fiat job and probably just do something like this year for some time, but in the free time start studying Bitcoin, but especially the part that we were telling before, just like how to make myself employable. How can I use my personal skill to enter into the space? Because trust me, there's a strong need for the majority of like typical job role in the space. So there's a lot of opportunities, but I would ask myself, how can I create value out of my skill? How can I propose to this company? So I will study also the ecosystem a lot, the companies, and probably after some times, I would probably enroll to the plumbing network business school.
Absolutely.
But not shilling for
Business
sure.
or tech, depending
Yeah,
if you
depends
want
in yeah.
developer or
And then I would probably go to some of many of these companies. I would like to, this is where I am. This is how I can I can see some problem. This is how I'm going to plan to solve some of the things I see that it's not working for you. Provide value, and probably some of these companies are going to be very happy because you are solving problems for them. And then, and then it's time to quit your fiat job. I will do this process in this order, problem.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would say if you depending the level of risk and the level of caution depends on exactly who you are and what you want to do. For example, if you are a professional, let's say a lawyer, tax lawyer, an accountant, an independent freelance marketer or video maker, which with freelance kind of clients, I think that's very safe. Just try to study Bitcoin and try to serve Bitcoin clients. So you can best your competition because your peers, your competitors, they will not know the Bitcoin culture and idiosyncratic things. Specifically, you will. So you learn Bitcoin, and now there are two lawyers. One lawyer is like, maybe I can help you with some crypto stuff. And you are a lawyer that can actually go deep into or you're an accountant who knows the UTXO model, unlike the others that just know the accounting model, the account model. So that's kind of differentiation is very easy to build and very easy to market. Instead, if you are not a freelance or a professional, but you are an employee, that's trickier and you should be quieter because you need to basically quit your job to join a Bitcoin startup that maybe is not super solid, maybe is going to be rocky, depending also the phase of the market. So maybe be more careful about that. The super high risk is you want to create a Bitcoin startup. Now, I mean, do it if you want, but be mindful that Bitcoin-based business models, honest Bitcoin-based business models, are incredibly hard to crack yet. Even companies like how is Blockstream making money? I mean, they don't know yet. Lighty Labs is a great company. How are they making money? It's VC funded. Like Wasabi was making big money, but then they had to shut down because of legal risk. So Trezor is making money because that's a reasonable business model. Sell hardware, but it's not super scalable. It's not the typical VC stuff that you can scale a lot because the linearity of the
hardware
cost.
can be tough.
It can be tough, right? It's also entry barrier is very high. So just software, like writing a Bitcoin wallet software, if it's open source, everybody can just copy you. Are you relying on charity, on grants? So it's hard. So before you try to find, I quit saying to me, we'll
So it
just do
was my
Bitcoin
fault.
startups. No, it was great.
You went straight for the hardest version.
Well, it
So
was so frustrated. It was coming back home every day, so frustrated. And we were so poor that I was
nothing to
like,
lose.
nothing to lose.
You're
Come
like,
on.
might as well.
Yeah, do this Bitcoin thing. I mean, it sounds like all of your interests and passion all together. So, and you hate your job. Do this.
Yeah, but it worked because we were poor, and from the point of so nothing to lose. But from the point of view of life experience, it has been great.
Oh, yes.
Financial point of view, if I kept my freaking job, we could be. I mean, if you keep your fiat job in your stack sets, so if you
Yeah,
want to
guys.
maximize for finance, don't quit your fiat job. Just stay there, stack sets. And also, you will get better OPSEC and privacy because in order to become a Bitcoin entrepreneur, we had to expose. We are here, so we have to show our face, which is also an OPSEC gamble. So if you just want to become rich, keep your fiat job until the fiat world collapses and just take sets. If you want to maximize life and connections and friendships and education, self education in Bitcoin, becoming a Bitcoin entrepreneur is actually a good idea. You will become poorer, but you will maximize your friends and knowledge.
You own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like
basically.
that.
Perfect. The perfect execution on that one.
WEF dream. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one last question for you guys. I've been finding myself asking this a lot to people we've had on the podcast, but what's the future look like for you? Or what do you want it to be? Where do you want to go from here? Obviously, 80%, 90% of the time, it looks different than what you were planning. But in your head, what are you aiming at right now?
Start? Okay. From 1 year from now, I want the Plan B network to be self self-sufficient,
Uh-huh.
then I will quit again and maybe I remember the president or like advisor,
Uh-huh.
and I can go back. I want to write a book, and I want to write a completely useless Bitcoin app that nobody will use and will lose a lot of money just for the sake of it. You know, the
Yeah.
typical dream of an entrepreneur is to create an app.
Uh-huh.
Nobody will use it, will never scale, never make money, but I want to do that, knowing that I'm going to waste money.
Yeah.
So if you are an investor, you want to waste money, call me up in 1 year. And
In the short term, you're going to stay home a little bit more, right?
yes,
You want to stay like with the kids a little bit more.
I want to become a trad wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to work a little bit more. Like I want to be the work wife in our family. Or
Yeah,
husband, I don't know.
we're becoming a little bit of a woke family, the progressive family, because she has sacrificed a lot in the last few years, and she feels ready and full of energy.
Yeah.
I'm tired, boss. As, you know, the Green Mile. I'm tired,
So
boss.
yeah, in the short term, I'm going to be more present in the business, and is going to relax a little bit more at home.
Yes.
In the long term, I will probably see myself doing more about freedom tax in general. So I have this idea Bitcoin is great, but we have been focusing on Bitcoin for many years. So I love this idea that we'll be completely obsolete in that. And I will like to focus on other crazy technological freedom tax that are going to help us as a humanity. Oh, this is very ambitious. Not that I'll say it was on my mind, but now that I say it, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I can see myself doing those things. And also like, of course, relax and stay with the family too. Yeah.
Well, great. Yeah. Well, thank you for both coming on. That was an excellent conversation. I feel like I have a much better understanding of everything you both do. I was curious about a lot of it, so I'm glad we got to sit down and talk for a bit. We always end the episode with what I call the awkward handshake. Because we have these microphones here, so it's a little awkward. I've actually never done it with two people, so Mir, you're easy. I can get to you
that's
just fine with the reach.
perfect,
We got to come around here. There we go. Yeah. We got it. That was a good move on your part, too. But yeah, thank you both so much for coming out. I'll be excited to see you guys around. I'm sure you'll be back in Prague at some point, right?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, this is the third year in a row for BTC Prague,
Awesome.
and we came before for the Hacker Congress, so we love this city. We'll
Great.
be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always come back for the beef cheeks. I love beef cheeks. If you want to
Come
back.
for the Bitcoin,
Yeah.
stay for the beef cheeks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Those are the best meet I had in my life, and I always tell the organizer of the conference, please give me some beef cheeks, and I will come and I will do everything for free forever. But beef cheeks are a must for me. I'm sorry about that. That's the reality.
It's legit.
Awesome.
Legit.
So I can count on seeing you guys again then, for
Yeah,
sure, for
sure,
the beef
sure.
cheeks.
Check the
Yeah.
menu. Check the
Check the
menu
menu.
with the brothers, maybe.
Okay, awesome. Great, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you guys around.